Heavenly Father, in behalf of those who are in this room tonight, and of all those people they represent throughout this county and the important business before them, we invite you into this meeting. We invite you into our lives, to our minds, to give us wisdom, give us leadership, to guide us in every decision and everything that is done, that ultimately it will be done righteously and well, and Lord, will be good for this community, and Lord, also would bring honor and glory to your name and your goodness. We need you, and we thank you for your blessings. We thank you for your blessings on this community, all that you have allowed us to do and continue to do. And Lord, I pray this in the wonderful name of Jesus. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're ready for roll call. If you'll take your handsets and just press yes for me, just press yes and stop right there for me, please. Everybody press yes. All right, now would you press confirm for me, please? Everybody press confirm. Excellent. Mr. Chairman, you have 20 present, 4 absent. There is a quorum.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Do I hear a motion and a second for the approval of the agenda?
Second.
Motion to approve. Have a motion to approve. Have a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Approval of minutes of the previous meeting.
Motion to approve.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Unfinished business and action thereon by the board. Report of standing committees. Planning,
No unfinished business, Mr. Chair.
physical review,
No unfinished business.
nominating,
No unfinished business.
report of special committees. Any other unfinished business? New business and action thereon by the board. Report of standing committees. Planning committee,
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Item 1 on planning recommends approval of transfer 2011 Ford F-450 chassis from the Putnam County Ambulance Service to the City of Baxter Police Department pending approval of City of Baxter, and I so move.
Second.
have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
That concludes planning, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner Atwood. Physical review.
Physical Review Committee, A, recommends approval of budget amendments to the general purpose school fund as presented, and I so move.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, Mr. Clerk?
Ladies and gentlemen, if you take your handsets, if you favor the motion, vote yes. If you're not in favor of the motion, vote no. Everyone, please vote and stop right there for me, please. All votes are in. Anyone wish to change their vote anywhere? Now please press confirm for me, good ladies and gentlemen. Everybody press confirm. Mr. Chairman, you have 20 voting yes, 0 no, 4 absent. Motion carries. Thank you, ma'am.
Item B, recommends approval of the budget amendment to the road department fund in the amount of $40,000, and I so move.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, Mr. Clerk?
Ladies and gentlemen, if you take your handsets, if you favor the motion, vote yes. If you do not favor the motion, vote no. Everyone, please vote, and please stop right there for me. All votes are in. Anyone wish to change their vote anywhere? All right, please press confirm for me if you would, ladies and gentlemen. Everybody press confirm. Thank you. Mr. Chairman, you have 20 voting yes, 4 absent, 0 no, 0 abstain. Fiscal Review B, pass.
Thank you. Item C recommends approval of the budget amendment to the Solid Waste Sanitation Fund in the amount of $113,500, and I so move.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, Mr. Clerk?
All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you favor the motion, take your handsets and vote yes. If you do not favor the motion, vote no. Everyone vote and stop right there for me. Wait before you confirm. All right, all votes are in. Anyone wish to change their vote anywhere? Now press confirm for me if you would, ladies and gentlemen. Everybody press confirm. Mr. Chairman, you have 20 voting yes, 0 no, 4 absent, 0 abstain. Motion carries.
Thank you. Item D recommends approval to bid and purchase the replacement of the HVAC cooling tower at the Justice Center in the amount not to exceed $100,000, and I so move.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Commissioner Atkins?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just had a question for Mr. Porter. I just want to make sure I heard right last week when you presented this. They are in the process right now of checking over all the roofs and HVAC systems on all the county buildings. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am. They, a lot of those were replaced when the county commission back in 2012, I guess it was, did an emergency thing with the Justice Center. Most of that was replaced then, but I checked the Carwile Mechanical last Monday. I met with them, and they said as far as they knew, after they'd reviewed everything else looked good. We may have some minor stuff that goes down a motor on a fan or something like that, but we handle that inside our annual budget. It's not a big ticket item.
But on other buildings in the county is what I was saying. You're still checking all of those?
Yes, we're doing a complete inventory on every county building that we have for the roof, the HVAC, any high-dollar mechanicals that building may have, so that we'll have, by the time we get ready for budget, I'll have a complete review and inventory of every county building.
So conceivably, we could have more of these come in as they're finding stuff.
The only one that we definitely know of right now is the HVAC at the agriculture building on Walnut is going to have to be replaced, and the roof at that building. There is a possibility, though, with the clean energy grant that we got to replace all the LED bulbs. That came in way under bid from what we thought it was going to. The price of bulbs have come down drastically since that grant was applied for. If the state will go along with it, we're going to request them to let us do that HVAC unit at the ag building with the money that's left in the grant, but I can't say whether they'll do that or not.
Thank you.
Any other discussion? Seeing none, Mr. Clerk?
All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you favor the motion, take your handsets and vote yes. If you do not favor the motion, vote no. Everyone, please vote. Stop right there for me, please. Everyone, please vote for me. All right. All votes are in. Anyone wish to change their vote anywhere? All right, now please press confirm, if you would, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much. Mr. Chairman, you have 20 voting yes, 0 no, 4 absent, 0 abstain. Motion carries. Give me just a second. Good. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Item E recommends approval of a resolution authorizing the submittal of a multimodal access grant application to the Department of Transportation for the purpose of installing sidewalks to connect Willa Avenue to the Health Department and Election Commission, committing the county to the local finding funds and acknowledging responsibility for future maintenance. This requires a 5% match of local funds, and I so move.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Commissioner Schultz?
Randy, out of curiosity, are any of these funds available for any county properties going forward? This is the first time I've heard it used in that way.
We applied for this grant last year, and because the city, well, I don't say because of the city, but the city got the large sidewalk grant running from down Highway 70 going all the way up past Food Line, so we didn't get awarded. Uh, the stipulations are that it has to attach to a state highway in some form or fashion. So if the county property attached to a state highway or the road leading to that county property attached to a state highway, yes, it could be. We could apply for these in the future. Oh, yes, definitely.
Mr. Atwood.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. One more question, if you don't mind. What was the decision made that this location received this grant? And is there a priority list of other areas if we do this again, where sidewalks will be built? You follow my question?
I think so. Let me try. If I don't, well, you asked again. When the health department election and everything was built out there, it was not planned that there would be any foot traffic going to that facility. As the health department has found, due to Obamacare and a lot of the things that have come into place since the health department was built, they have a tremendous amount of foot traffic going in and out of that daily, folks that walk to the health department. That's the reason for this one being there, and it wouldn't be too bad if it was just a regular street, but with all those emergency vehicles coming in and out on a daily basis, it makes it for a hazardous situation. So that's made this the top priority. We haven't looked at any other facilities yet, but that's something that we will if we get awarded this one.
Thank you, sir.
Any other discussion? Seeing none, Mr. Clerk.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you favor the motion, take your handsets and vote yes. If you're not in favor of the motion, vote no. Everyone, please vote. Stop right there for me. All votes are in. Anyone wish to change their vote anywhere? All right, please press confirm for me, if you would, ladies and gentlemen. Everybody pressing confirm. Mr. Chairman, we have 20 voting yes, 0 no, 4 absent, 0 abstain. Motion carries.
Thank you. Item F, recommends approval of a resolution to apply to the Tennessee Department of Economic and Community Development for Community Development Block Grant funds for the purchase of fire trucks, and I so move.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, I believe we can do this with a voice vote since we're just applying. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. Item G, recommends approval of a resolution to amend Putnam County's Private Act to raise the hotel motel tax from 6% to 7%, and I so move.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Commissioner, excuse me, we'll get right to you. Mr. Burton.
Got one question. The original resolution of the state, doesn't part of that money go to debt service?
The original, back in '79, I don't think said, Donnie, but the last one that was, the last cent that was set aside was divided between Parks and Recreations and tourism. But as it stands right now, if you take all 6 cents, 80% of it goes to debt service to pay for schools, 10% of it goes to Parks and Recreations, and 10% of it goes to tourism.
The 1% that's on the resolution here,
The new one,
none of it will go toward debt service?
none of it will go towards debt service. It was to go to Parks and Recreations, our Economic Development Fund. It helps us bring in new businesses like we did with FCOSA, and to help tourism. The reason that we took the debt service out is I met with the Hotel Association, which there were several represented there. The one thing that was brought up at that meeting is that they would be for it and support it, or most of them would. There was a couple that wouldn't, but majority of them would support it if the proceeds were going to expand Parks and Recreations, expand our ball fields, to bring in more events and more tournaments and so forth, to bring in new jobs and new economic development, and to help bring in more events and tourism. If it was going to go to the general fund or to debt service, why, they would not be in support of it. The one thing that I would, if you got 80% of the money already going to debt service, the $65,000 that you're looking at for that split, if you put any of it in debt service, won't impact debt service as much as it will impact the other funds. Our economic development fund that we use to attract businesses and so forth is totally drained after we paid for our share of the FCOSA project. It would help build that back up. In my mind, the money that would come from this 1 cent would impact those funds tremendously, where on a $15 million debt service fund, it won't impact as much. And that's the reason, after meeting with them and after looking at the funds, is the reason that the resolution is like it is. But that's a draft resolution. If y'all want to change it, that'd be totally up to y'all.
Was the original resolution that we passed, or that was moved forward to this, didn't it have that in there?
There wasn't a resolution then. This resolution was just created.
Okay. The discussion that we had was, did it not include the debt service percentage?
I gave you the percentages of what was going to now, but I don't think so. I don't recollect if it did.
Thank you.
Commissioner Honeycutt.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. You answered most of the questions for Donnie. Of the 1%, Randy, if we pass this, of the 1% that goes to Parks, Recreation, Economic Development, and Tourism, broke down evenly as percentage-wise of that money coming in, or how are you projecting on doing that?
That's the way I was projecting, but
Okay.
that'll be up to the commission. If you pass it tonight by 2/3 majority, has to be a 2/3 majority, goes to state legislature, they have to approve it, then it has to come back to the commission, and then you have to pass it again with exactly where you're gonna put the money at. So, as long as it stays within those 3 categories, it can be divided up however you saw fit. The idea was that it'd be
Evenly.
third, and third.
Oh, okay, all right. Thank you, Randy. I'm through, Mr. Chairman.
Commissioner Watson.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Might be a somewhat similar question, but has it been figured yet of this 1%? As you said, it's proposed that it go towards economic development and maybe tourism, some of these other things. Has it been figured yet what dollar amount around it might be projected in that direction?
Sure. Right now, 1 cent or 1% of the hotel motel tax brings in about $200,000. But now you have to realize the hotel motel industry in Putnam County has been on a tear over the last few years. I mean, I think most of them will tell you they saw some tremendous increases in their revenue and profits and so forth coming in, because a lot of people are staying in our hotels and motels. So that $200,000 that's being brought in now, a couple, 3 years ago, was probably $100,000. So it's had some record-setting trends over the past, really over the last year and a half since I've been in office. I've been watching it on a monthly basis, and we've set all-time records over the last several months.
So if we do the 1% hike and then do it the way it's proposed, maybe about 100,000 towards potentially
about 65,000 over each one of them. And realize, you're just voting on the 1%. The other 6 cents that are already there stays exactly the same way as it is right now. 80% going to debt service, 10% going to parks, and 10% going to tourism. So that doesn't affect that. You're just voting on the 1%. As far as this goes, is what you're going to do with it.
Thank you.
Commissioner Short.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This is actually directed at our parliamentarian. How many votes do we need for a 2/3 majority tonight?
Do math on me. I have to figure that out for just a second.
Well, with 4 being absent,
You still need,
you still have to have the 16 or 16 votes, right?
you still need 16 votes with it.
Just thought we ought to know that going in.
I think according to our county attorney, I think it'd be 16. It doesn't make any difference how many people are out.
I think that's correct as well. I just wanted to make sure everybody knew that.
You'll have to have the 16. I'm not trying to override your parliamentarian. It's just the membership body, not the attending tonight.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Rogers? That's all I was listening. Thank you. I've got one question for you. I've had a lot of people ask me about this. This 1% is still gonna go just like the other 6%, except on the debt service part.
That's right. Instead of debt service, it's economic development. It's taking the place of the debt service. Like I said, the reason for that is the Economic Development Fund, after we did the Rails with Trails and PCOSA and all the projects that's been done over the last couple of years, which brought a humongous amount of jobs and stuff to the county, that fund is wiped out.
Going back to build that back up.
Yes, and it allows us to build it up too. I'll add this to it. Instead of having to do a property tax increase, it allows you to do that with a hotel motel tax. And right or wrong, the hotel motel tax doesn't affect any of the residents that live in the county. It affects the people that come here and stay. And we think that by putting it into parks, recreations, and economic development and tourism, that we'll be able to bring more people to Putnam County, which will increase the nights stay with the hotelers, and it'll be a benefit to them along with the county. That's the idea behind it.
Any more discussion from any commissioners? If not, I will open it up to the floor. If you would, come to the podium, state your name, give you 3 minutes.
Yeah, my name is Michael Rose. I'll try not to hypnotize you with my low, monotonous voice and maybe get you to vote in my direction. But I'd like to read this statement. It's been a long time since I've practiced parliamentary procedures, but if I could have it entered into the record after I'm done, I'd be appreciative. I represent the Holiday Inn Express and the Hampton Inn here in Columbus from Putnam Companies out of Nashville. And the statement reads, we come before the committee representing Putnam Hospitality Holdings, LLC, the owner of Holiday Inn Express in Cookeville and the Hampton Inn in Cookeville. We oppose the increase in the privilege tax on occupancy at a hotel from 6% to 7%, not because of the direct costs imposed upon our hotels, but rather because the cost will directly impact tourism, economic development it is seeking to fund. By increasing the tax from 6 to 7%, the county not only impacts the hotels, it impacts the consumers at the hotels. An increase in tax will cause hoteliers to raise their tax rates to the hotel and thereby pass the expense on to the consumers. By passing the expense on to the consumers and raising the rates, Putnam is essentially creating a restrictive tariff on tourism and visitors to the county. Tariffs, by definition, are imposed as protections for local goods and services. They are essentially government tool used to distort the free market and or, in more general sense, restrict capitalism. Now, by that logic, if we increase the tax of the hotels, we in effect are discouraging tourism to the county by depressing the very thing, economic development, the tax increase is set to fund. Therefore, first and foremost, we impose the increase because of the logic and practical application do not align with the desired outcome. Further, Putnam County already sits at the high end of the total tax combined on hotel room occupancy tax for the whole entire state of Tennessee. Putnam County placing higher taxes on hotels may factor into a company's decision whether to move operations here. One draw of moving to a smaller city in favorable tax conditions. I do not think it would be prudent to place ourselves in the upper echelon of taxation for the state of Tennessee if we aim to continue the growth and prosperity of the county. Finally, we understand that a tax increase may come at times of economic success, but reactionary taxation during times of high volatility can be the trigger which plateaus an economy and even worse pushes us back into a recession we're just now coming out of. As we have seen through 2016, already the markets are very volatile, moving up and down at historic rates. Oil prices continue to plummet. Political instability threatens the European and Asian markets. Our neighbors to the north are struggling to find their place in the world economy, and the stock markets continue to drop in the United States. We are not at a time where we need to risk our success by an increase in tax revenues. So please take our concerns under consideration before voting on this increase. We are happy and active citizens of the county. And if all our concerns are drawn from the desire to see continued successes in the Putnam County's development. Thank you for your time and opportunity for me to voice our concerns.
Thank you.
Did
If
I
I
get
could, sir, if I could have that. Thank you very much. Any other questions or discussion? Commissioner Williams.
Yeah, I'd like to ask a question. How do our rates, as far as the hotel, the room itself, how does that compare to, say, Nashville, Chattanooga, Knoxville?
So you're talking, in the average rate in the 200s in Nashville, and here our rate is 139, I believe, 139.
That's kind of what I was.
And we're I represent the whole of our hotel, that.
So the average hotel room in Cookeville is probably $89, something like that. So I mean, I'm guessing. So I mean, even if our tax rate was a little bit higher, their overall spend would be less in Cookeville than some of the surrounding areas.
We're talking about excess 17% added on.
Oh, yeah, I understand. I just wanted to kind of put it in perspective. I think we're still going to be a bargain, and if you're traveling down I-40, once you get to Cookeville, if you're tired, you're an hour and a half away from somewhere else. I mean, those people are still probably going to stay, and I don't think the 1% would really affect too many people as far as the venue here. But I mean, I do understand your concerns. So, that's all I have.
Commissioner Medley.
Well, this tax increase, if your motel room only costed $50 a night, this would only be 50 cents more. And I've never left a motel for 50 cents. Well, if it's $100, it's just going to be $1. So it's not like it's a big amount of money.
Commissioner Rogers.
That's kind of what I was going to say. $89 is the state rate. At 6%, that's $5.34. At 7%, that's $6.23 with an increase of 89 cents per night. So we have all this business coming in. They're coming for the Blue Cross Bowl. They're not going to drive to Crossville. They're not going to go anywhere else to save 89 cents because it's going to cost them that in gas. So, thank you, sir.
Commissioner Ford.
I'd like to know what the Knoxville, Nashville, kind of like what Bobby was going about. What is their percentage that they charge tax? Don't know. Randy may have it. He's looking.
And I'm taking this from information that was given to me by someone else. The rate in Nashville, Davidson County, when you include the convention center rate, is 17.75. If you take the sales tax out of that, is Nashville at the max on the sales tax? I would guess that would be 8%. Would be my guess for Nashville. Knoxville 17.25. And these are including the sales tax rates and the hotel motel rate and any convention rate that is added to those. Cumberland County is 7.5% on the hotel motel tax. They'll be 0.5% higher than we are, even if you do approve this rate. Van Buren County is 7%. There's several other places that will still be as high or higher than we are when you start looking at. And I can go through and read you a bunch of them, but does that kind of answer what you wanted?
That does it, Randy. My point was what I was looking at to see. You know, if we were above them and everything, looks like we're going to be a little bit below everybody as far as the motel hotel tax.
And there's a new motel or a new hotel being built across from Sam's right now that's coming in. We got a convention center that's being talked about so the folks are looking to come here because of our growth and everything to build more hotel rooms. When we had the Rotary tournament back in May, every hotel room was booked here in Cookeville, Crossville, Smith County, White County, we lost teams, from the soccer tournament that would not come here because they couldn't find hotel rooms.
Thank you, Randy.
Commissioner O'Wanderson.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I was actually gonna get to about what Randy was talking about, but I think we're on similar wavelengths there, because what Mr. Medley and, Rogers were talking about, I actually meant to make this point at our meeting last month, but like you said, Cumberland County is still gonna be higher than us. I believe, some of the counties in the Smokies region, maybe Sevier County and some of those areas will be higher, and Davidson County is higher. So I don't think that folks are gonna really make a trip 30 minutes from Crossville because of a change in the rate when it's already higher there anyway. So I don't think this will make too much of a dent in state traffic here and that sort of thing. So that was just a comment I wanted to add.
Hey, excuse me, ma'am, if you would come to the podium. Thank you. If you would, just state your name and give you 3 minutes.
My name is Carla Clark. I am with the Country Inn and Suites here in Cookeville. I'm also with BN Hospitality, and we have properties in Nashville and in Hopkinsville. Speaking to the percentage and comparing us to Nashville and Knoxville markets, for the cities that are comparable to us, who bid on the TSSAA, who bid on those soccer tournaments throughout the summer, those comparable cities, Gatlinburg is less than Nashville and Knoxville. Gatlinburg is in the 12 to 13 range, and they take that money, that tax money, and put it back into tourism. Nashville puts some of their monies back into tourism. The hotels that I have spoke to, we, as raising a tax, we are against it on a flat base. But if that money goes back into tourism, back into things that are connected to tourism, which bring those people to our city, invest back into the hotel, invest into tourism, then the entire boat rises for the county and for the hotels, and we could support that. And I know that one of the proposals in front of you is the third and third and third. That makes sense to us as hotels and as small business owners and small business managers. But those percentages, when you compare them to cities who could steal our events, our 17% will be higher than those cities because they're in that 12 to 13 bracket.
Thank you, ma'am. Any other discussion? Seeing none, Mr. Clerk.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you favor the motion, press yes. If you do not favor the motion, vote no. Everyone, please vote and stop right there for me, please. Remember, it takes 2/3 of the body, not just what's here tonight. All votes are in. Anyone wish to change their vote anywhere? All right, please press confirm for me, if you would, ladies and gentlemen. Everybody press confirm. All right, Mr. Chairman, you have 17 voting yes, 3 no, 4 absent, 0 abstain. That does constitute the 2/3 for tonight. Motion does pass.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And that completes fiscal review.
Thank you, Commissioner Reels. Nominate committee.
Nominating committee recommends that the following be appointed to the Agriculture Extension Committee for a 2-year term to expire January 2018. Kim Bradford, Darrell Blair, Rita Lefevre, and Mel Maxwell, and I so move.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
That completes nominating.
Thank you, Commissioner Reels. Report of special committees. Resolutions?
Mr. Chairman, we have no resolutions.
Election of notaries.
Sheila Bumbelow, Lisa Carlisle, Harold E. Copeland, Tanya Divany, Mary L. Evans, Paul B. Hooper, Amanda Hudson, Robert C. Kincaid, Mandy S. Mathis, Eric J. McAlpin, Michael K. McGee, Monica L. Neal, Freddie G. Nelson, Jennifer L. Randolph, Joseph Christopher Reeves, Billy W. Scruggs, Maxine Stewart, Kimberly Taylor, and Carrie A. Vaughn.
Motion to approve.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, Mr. Clerk.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have to vote this one by hand, so if you take your handsets in favor of the motion, vote yes. If not in favor of the motion, vote no. Everyone, please vote. Stop right there for me, please. All votes are in. Anyone wish to change their vote, if you would, please press confirm for me now, ladies and gentlemen. Everybody press confirm. Mr. Chairman, you have 20 voting yes, 4 absent, 0 no, 0 abstain. Motion carries.
Other new business, ratification of County Executive Randy Porter's selection of the Budget Committee as follows: Jordan Awanazan, Kim Bradford, Jim Martin, Mike Atwood, Chris Savage, Ben Rogers, Larry Redwine, Cindy Adams, Donnie Bertram.
I'll make a motion accepted.
Do I hear a second? Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Commissioner Ford.
I've been called, I had one call from one person that was on budget, and I've had a couple more commissioners come up about the rules. A few years ago, we passed a rule saying if you sat on budget for 2 years straight, you had to come off. So I've asked Jill to look at the rule and verify this for us.
If I may.
Mr. Jones?
Commissioner Ford, the Budget Standing Subcommittee is listed in Appendix C11 of your rules book. And what it says is that the Budget Committee can only serve for 2 consecutive years and then must set out for 1 year before going back to begin with another 2-year appointed term. As a practical matter, I'm not sure that that affects any of the appointments that the county executive has made subject to the ratification of the commission. I believe the only commissioner that would fit within that category as far as 2-year terms would be Scott Ebersole, and I don't see his name listed on your agenda. I don't think.
I had no idea he'd been on there twice or what. I was just saying.
Yeah, I think he's the only one that fit in that category.
Commissioner Short.
I wanted to speak to my fellow commissioners about this. I think that what we're seeing here is a real weakness, because what you end up with is, if we follow our existing rules, we will end up with a complete changeover in Budget Committee the following year, with the exception of whoever is coming on in Commissioner Ebersole's place. And I think that we really need to work towards a system that at least maintains.
Mr. Chair, this is not the subject we're confronted with. This is not what we're.
I thought I had the microphone, though. I'm only making a comment.
What we're talking about is the selection of the budget thing here.
I understand, and that's what I'm speaking to.
Um,
You're talking about the way it's created.
yeah, you're talking about with the rules, I believe. Would that be correct, Mr. Parliamentarian?
Yes, but he is referring to the subject at hand, which is talking about what the Budget Committee has appointed. So, as a question that could be.
Never mind, I withdraw. I've made my point. Thank you.
Any other discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed?
No.
Motion carries. Ratification of County Executive Randy Porter's reappointments of the Pay Scale Committee as follows: Jim Martin, Ben Rogers, Danny Holmes, Tony Honeycutt.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Ratification of County Executive Randy Porter's appointment of Jeff Rami, we'll make sure I got that right, as Technology Director. Mr. Porter.
Mr. Chairman, with the designation of Mr. Mayberry a few months ago, I had to choose a new technology director. Jeff, as had already been employed with us. He'd come on board, about 6 months before, Mr. Mayberry's resignation. Jeff has a degree in IT. He's also working on his master's, and has been a great employee, since he's been on board. Jeff comes to us with a great history, worked for FedEx for several years as a manager, and has already, since he's been here, has helped us tremendously, and he's my selection for our new technology director, and I hope you'll join me in selecting him and welcome him.
Mr. Romney, would you like to say anything?
Thank you for giving me a chance to do this. It's really a pleasure actually to get in here and do something with the community that I've actually grew up with. Kind of gives me a sense of trying to give back to the community since going through all the grade schools and everything up here. So hopefully you'll see the way, that let me try to do something good for the community and the position that I can do it in. Thank you.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Congratulations, Jeff. Announcements and statements, have a couple. First, I'd like to welcome Commissioner Bowman back. We're glad to have you back, ma'am. Next, Mr. Porter and Mr. Jones about the Mill Creek project.
Mr. Chairman, we're going to tag team y'all, give you a report on the Mill Creek Road. As you know, it was damaged last July pretty severely by flooding. What we did, we applied with the U.S. Department of Agriculture under their fund that they have that helps repair roads and bridges and so forth that are damaged by weather incidents. We were approved, but we're on a waiting list with 6 other counties, 3 of those being from our region, Clay, Fentress, and Macon, that also had roads that were damaged last July. We're also on a waiting list for 3 counties that had roads damaged from the ice storm last February. The problem is with this fund and Randy, jump in, from what we understand from them is that it's, once you're approved, you have to wait for funding. So far, we have not saw any of that funding. I think after our discussion that we're looking at February, at the end of February, to make a decision as to what we're going to do.
We talked to Darrell Beeson with the Ag Extension Office, and he thought that the end of December they had the funding, but it changed. They rolled it back to February, so we're talking probably a extensive amount of money, and if we can wait for this, I would encourage it. If we don't get this funding, I'm going to be talking to y'all about funding the project for Mill Creek. So we're just giving you an update on where we're at with the Ag Extension Office.
Thank you very much.
We'll be back in March letting you know if another update as to where it's at and if we think it's going to be funded or not.
Appreciate it, gentlemen.
The people in Mill Creek, we put them off, but it's just that the highway department can't afford to fix it out of our road fund, and we're trying to get some federal money, or we're going to have to come to the county commission to have money.
Well, either way, we're going to have to fix it.
Either way, we're going to fix it. I'm sorry that it's taken so long.
No problem. Appreciate your work. Any other announcements? Hearing none, Mr. Porter.
One thing, when it comes to budget committee or any of the other committees, if you want to serve on one of those, let me know. We've got to choose them every year. There's a lot of committees and boards to serve on. Let me know up front ahead of time before they come up if you'd like to serve on them. It really doesn't, I want to try to accommodate as many as I can. No matter who I appoint, though, there's going to be somebody that's probably not going to get appointed that may want to, and I may not be able to please everybody, but we'll try to work with you as much as we can. So if you want to be on any boards or committees, please let me know ahead of time before they come up. Thank you.
Any other announcements? Hearing none, do I hear a motion to adjourn? Second?
Second.
All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? We're adjourned.